Our treasure in Second Corinthians. The epistle of Second Corinthians is like a treasure chest. The Apostle Paul gives assurance several times in this epistle that following Christ affords unbelievable benefits to the believer, benefits that believers cannot find anywhere else. We see Paul in many places contrasting the kingdom message and the grace message. The kingdom message were then as now offering the benefits of outer blessings such as healings, miracles, and prosperity as a sign that God was really with them and was blessing their law gospel. But Paul had already gone through and practiced the kingdom message in the 3 years immediately after he was saved on the road to Damascus. Then he received a revelation of Christ as his life, and everything changed from Christ being outside of him to Christ living inside of him. Such a change as this would radically change his message. If indeed Christ was his life and his all and in all, several things would have to go. Things that he practiced under law and the kingdom message. Gone would be his faith. Now it is Christ's faith operating. Galatians chapter 2 verse 20. Gone would be his ministry and his gifts. Now Christ was the gifted and perfect one living inside of him. First Corinthians chapter 13 verse 8 to 10. Gone would be his self-efforts under the law, attempting to please God. But look at what we receive by Christ living in us as well as what we received the moment we were saved. Second Corinthians chapter 3 verse 12, we have hope. Before this verse, he speaks of the law passing away and then says that we have hope and should never mince words when talking about our hope, but use great boldness in speech. This hope is found only in Christ. Colossians chapter 1 verse 26 to 27. In other words, there is no hope outside of Christ in us. Second Corinthians chapter 4 verse 1, we have a new ministry. In the previous verses, Moses was used as an illustration as one who, because of the law kept from the Israelites, the good news about Christ's new life for humanity was veiled. But when one turns to Christ, the veil is taken away. The new ministry is Christ as the life of the believers, in that we do not lose heart. Second Corinthians chapter 4 verse 2, believers in Christ have renounced the hidden things of dishonesty and will not handle the scriptures deceitfully. Christ-life believers hold up and protect the gospel of Christ, or the doctrine of Christ, Second John chapter 1 verse 9, as the most sacred responsibility we have. Second Corinthians chapter 4 verse 7, we have this treasure in us. This treasure is Christ. When we compare this treasure to the old clay pots, we believers will have no trouble identifying the greatness of God's gift in us. We have the living Son of God as our life. Second Corinthians chapter 4 verse 13, we have the same faith in us. For the life believers now live in the flesh, they live by the faith of the Son of God. Galatians chapter 2 verse 20. There are many more we haves in this epistle. Every we have is not by our doing, but because Christ is alive in us. There is not a single thing lacking in God's grace in us. We are still healed, we still have miracles in our lives, and we still prosper in the things of this world. None of this is accomplished by our praying or our believing or by our good deeds. It is Christ alone. Just Christ. To God be the glory. God bless you.